I'd say they're exceptionally good team that runs the transition. Pretty good defensively. Another long team, kind of like Kentucky, can do some things with their length, and they're good offensive rebounding. So you got to keep them off the glass.
How big is their transition offense, just as far as the percentage? You look at synergy, the percentage of plays they run that count as break or secondary break are very high. How big is that as far as something that you're going to have to defend for 40 minutes?
It's something that we got to make sure we don't get bitten by early. That we're handling it. Obviously, when we go over in practice, it's one thing, but when you actually deal with a team that's been doing it for 30-some games straight, it's going to be a lot more tougher to stop. And I think Coach did a good job preparing us and making sure we had the right coverage as far as all that.
I'm curious, and this is kind of for all you guys, the 10 o'clock start or 10:15 start, whatever it is, how challenging is that when you have to wait all day long to play? And if it was your choice, which I know it's not, when's an ideal time for you guys to play?
It doesn't really matter to me. I'm ready to go at any time.
Is there a good time?
We can play early in the afternoon, we can play late at 9. No matter what the game is, we're still always going to be prepared.
Same.
Do you guys
Come on! You gotta be different. Be your own man.
Do you take an extra nap on a day like that when you got 10 o'clock? I mean, do you just kind of chill for a while? How do you kind of approach just a different preparation, playing even later than a 9 o'clock game? Is there anything different as far as the preparation for it?
Well, I know we won't be up at like 6 a.m. Hopefully, that's probably ideal, but we'll have a little bit more time to get off our feet.
Get a few extra meals.
I thought one of us would have said that. Perhaps you said that.
Yogi, I guess, what do you see when you look at Marcus Page?
He's been a guy that's stayed all 4 years like I've had in that program, and just the way he's impacted that program with his presence of play, being able to shoot it from deep, being able to pass it, just being a very crafty point guard. I've always played against him. AAU coming up, and still even in college now.
Do you know how many times you guys played against each other in AAU? I counted at least 4 that I can remember.
I can only remember 2 times. One was at Spiece, and then we played against each other. I remember in the top 100 camp in Virginia.
Anything in particular you remember from him then, and as far as it's different from what he is now?
I say it's pretty much the same thing, but obviously more redefined, more polished game. Just his simplicity of the game with his pull-ups and his threes. Oh. We're good. Yeah, just ability to shoot the ball at such a high level.
What were those, after the Duke game, to take you guys back in the defense, you guys focused on the defense, what were those first few days after that game like? What did you guys talk about? What did you guys try to focus on?
Well, we just tried to focus on each other, and I remember Max saying that we could make a run in this Big Ten just with our level of play. He saw our ability, and then we all saw our ability to play. And I feel like ever since then, our level of play has, changed dramatically.
Thomas, you've been in and out of foul trouble on the past couple of games. Coach said earlier that all those calls have been kind of a little bit iffy. Is there anything maybe you can do to keep yourself out of those kind of situations, keep yourself out of those calls?
I would say just mostly moving better, a lot of the quickness, being in spots faster, talking more out there, and just trying to get in a position where the ref doesn't have to make those iffy calls.
Max, the other night you were talking about just with Kentucky, figuring them out, and then at halftime kind of knowing what they were doing, second half kind of took advantage. What goes into figuring teams out on the fly and being able to, improve throughout the game?
Well, it's just your team's ability to adapt. When you're getting beat a certain way, how quickly can you change what you're doing and adapt to how they're beating you? And I think we've had a team that's adapted all year long very well. Whether it be on the court, just our tendencies, whatever it is, and I think that's starting to pay off here in March. We're adapting things a little quicker. Going into halftime, I thought we kind of figured it out, and the second half we did a lot better coveraging some other stuff, and well, with the win.
Just kind of piggybacking off of that, Yogi or Troy, does this team adapt better than previous teams? And do you guys see
Yeah, I'd say our ability to change so quickly in the game is, at a high level. But, y'all can't change, so much against some of these deeper teams that you could meet in the tournament. But I feel like we've always just stuck with our same coverages. And I feel like when we know our coverages and stick to them and just go back to the basics, then we can play really well.
Yogi, coaches talked about how far Nick's come defensively, really the second half of the season, maybe the last 3 weeks specifically. What's impressed you the most about just his defensive development ever since Ryan went down?
Yeah, Nick's taken a lot more pride in defense. I feel like he's been doing a lot of extra stuff. Even playing one-on-one against some of the guys. And main thing, he's been getting, film on guys he could possibly be guarding just to see what they like to do. But he's just wanting to go out there and get a stop. And I think when he has that mentality, he can be a great defender.
Who's he going up against one-on-one, anyone specifically or consistently?
I've seen him in there with Josh a good amount. I got in there a couple times, but him and Josh have been going at it. And, Josh isn't definitely the slowest person on the perimeter, so it's nice for him to move his feet against a quick guy like him.
You talked about, you played against Max for 3 years. When you heard that he was coming, did you have any idea that he was going to have the kind of impact that he's had?
No, I didn't. And, the first time I saw him, I remember I was working out and he was taking a tour on basically Cook Hall and introduced, but, no, I didn't think he would have the impact that he's had. His wisdom and knowledge that he's shared, is a lot different than mine. I feel like, he's got a more older head mentality and,
What? Older head.
You call me old?
about 24, but yeah, just what he shares on the court, his knowledge, everyone listens to him.
What do you think about that, Max, the older head mentality?
Well, I want the definition first. But I think, me and Yogi both been around and our perspectives, are both true, but in different ways sometimes. And he sees a lot of things I don't, and I see some things he doesn't. That could be just him being a guard, me being a big, but I think it's also just, our history, kind of what we've been through. So I think, we complement each other pretty well as far as that goes.
You 18 yet?
Max, Coach Crean talked about how you've been able to stay even-keeled throughout this whole season, and you really noticed that when you went to Michigan that he was watching you to see if you'd be different, and you weren't. Is that something that you think about or try to be?
Yeah, I try to bring a pretty consistent sort of thing to the team. Whatever I feel like our team needs, whether it's a spark off our bench, whether it's just keep it going. I try to be that guy. I've always been a guy that likes kind of putting things in perspective. And like Yogi was saying back when we were struggling in the early, I knew the talent this team had, and I think as long as we just kind of picked up on some things, the talent would just be pieced together and we can win some games.
I got time for one more question.
Thomas, the ability to make free throws under crunch time pressure. How do you block everything out to just make the free throw?
We go through that every day of practice, we have a pretty long and hard practice. Coach always wants us to go to the free throw line. And, my teammates are always with me. Nick, Yogi, Troy, Max, me and Max are going against each other in some free throw competitions. And it's just the mindset that we have going towards it. We have to carry it over in games, and so that's what I did.
Who wins the competition?
For the last couple times I won. But
We got the CNN fact check on that.
you go shoot now.
That's what I like to hear. Guys want to do extra free throws.
I gotta go do my downward dog first.
All right, guys, thanks.